It's the I Can't Mom Today podcast with Heather, the new mom, and Vera, the seasoned mom. I Can't Mom Today.
Hey, this is Heather and Vera back again with another episode of I Can't Mom Today podcast. Hi, Vera.
Hi, Heather.
How's you?
As good. Tired as usual. What else is new?
I know. I'm actually doing okay. I'm just scrambling because I'm going out of town again. And so,
I don't know how you do it between you going out of town and Brad going out of town. It's like, and going out of town is so much work.
Yeah, and I feel like I've been just constantly going, but I'm very blessed because I get to go out of town and I get some me time this weekend. So that's going to be so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just have to pack for yourself?
Yes.
Oh,
Brad has to pack for Baker.
Rock on.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brad.
Whatever. Wah, wah, wah.
Right? Like my mother would say, we'll cry for him tomorrow.
Yes. When I remember. So something that we brought up in our community is something that you would do differently than your parents. Like I know before I was a mom, I was like, I'll never do this, because it was something that I experienced in my life. And so I wanted to reach out to our community and now bring some things back to you and share with you, and then you can go and join our group and comment on that and let us know, because we all, and I'll say the things that I wrote, I was nervous about because I was like, people are going to judge me.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, we frequently worry about that on Facebook in general anyway, but yeah, yeah.
But I wanted to be true to the followers, and I wanted to be true to my friends and expose, the real life in my world, because it's not pretty and it's not glamorous and it's not great. And I can say all these things all day long, but I am such a faulty person.
Yeah.
Hey.
I didn't say a word. I just said, yeah.
You agreed.
Just being honest.
Yeah. You're lucky we're not in the same room.
Right.
So my things were when I was younger, and I have a different recollection than my mother, but I felt like I was spanked a lot as a child.
Yeah.
Like I felt like it was every day.
Maybe you deserved it.
Girl, did I deserve it? Sometimes I did, but I felt like sometimes I didn't. I felt like it was just misplaced anger sometimes. And that's my point of view. My mom may have a different point of view, thinking that I was the devil child, which I probably wasn't far from it. But, there were definitely times that I deserved it and sometimes that I didn't feel like I did. But when it wasn't effective for me, it just made me angry and it made me resentful.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I tried as hard as I could with Luke not to.
Mm-hmm. And
my sister and I talked about the eyes. We got the angry eyes and the pointy eyebrows from my mom. She has these eyebrows where she could like point them up. I swear to God, like something like out of a cartoon. And you'd get scared to death just from the look and the raised voice, like, Vera, what are you doing? And you'd be like, nothing. You'd be ready to pee your pants. So yeah. I think that I got spanked maybe once as a child that I can remember. Of course, I was also angelic, but besides that, my parents were really big on the yelling, like raising their voice. They didn't yell and scream, but they would like use the stern voice, the big eyeballs and the pointy eyebrows. And it was pretty effective. Yeah. So I don't know. Do you think that would have worked with you?
I don't know. I think creativity would have probably worked.
Creativity.
We need to find some creative, because I got the typical like grounding restrictions. And I just don't know. I feel like creativity, some creative punishments might have been in order.
Yeah.
Or explaining stuff too. Cause I don't know. I don't think I was explained a lot of things either. So it's do as I say because I said so.
Yeah.
And it wasn't an explanation like, hey, I don't want you to do this because da 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 da. And granted, there are some times where it's like you do, just because I said so, because that's what I want, So, for me, and Baker's not even 2 years old, so it's not like I've spanked him in the sense of lean over my knee, you're getting a spanking. It's been he's climbing on things and it's been 5 times that I told him no to get down and he won't listen. So I need to grab his attention and I just pop him on the tushy. You know, it's not like a, you know, it's a, like, I mean, diaper through diaper, swat, or on his hand. I've definitely hit his hand before. And when I say hit, I mean, like, you know, just a little tap on his hand to get his attention. Like, dude, don't touch that, you know? When I say don't do this 5 times, it's because you're going to get hurt. And I need you to not get hurt. So attention. And in those instances, like later, I've been like, God, why did I do that? I wish I wouldn't have done that. But it was something that's ingrained in me because of how I was brought up. So I have to change that mentality in my own mind and really work on that. But I'm also a yeller too. Like I'll be like, Pegger! You know? Because he's about to do something and I need him to stop. And I'm sure my neighbors are like, whoa, crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think that sometimes you just got to do whatever is going to get the kid's attention, and every kid's a little different, you know? But like you said, being aware that you're not just constantly going back to the, you know, spanking constantly. Because plus too, probably after a while just be like,
yeah,
whatever, Mom.
He's like, whatever, dude.
Yeah. But I used to, like with Luke, his big thing was not going to bed and not being able to go to sleep when he was like 2 and 3 years old. And it would just, after telling him a bajillion times, and eventually it was, you know, he'd get a swat on the butt, you know, a couple times just to get his attention. And that would make him cry, but it would make him stay in the bed. Then I'd close the door and he'd cry himself to sleep, and that would be the end of it. But that was only a few times. Still not fun.
No.
You know, not fun for anybody involved, really.
Oh my gosh, it's terrible.
Yeah, it sucks.
So it was something you did or your parents did that you vowed you'd do differently?
Well, that, and I think I put this on our Facebook page, was about like communicating how you feel. Because I think sometimes there are negative, and I think a lot of parents and families tend to do this without realizing it, because I think it's part of the way that we're socialized. It's not like if you're angry about something or hurt about something or sad about something, people will just say, oh, well, you'll be fine. Or, you know, if you're angry, they'll say, you know, stop being angry, you know, get over it, or put up or shut up, or whatever. And I wish that my parents would have tried to do with Luke. It would have said something more like, hey, I know you're angry, but, you know, just go in your room and punch some pillows or do something. But it's what you do with your anger that makes the difference. So instead of like punching me or punching a friend, or, you know,
or even making that attitude contagious too, because it, you know, it can be very contagious.
Yeah. Don't sit and pout. Don't ruin everybody's time. Go, it's okay, but let him know that his feelings are valid. It's okay that he's sad. It's okay that he's angry, because your feelings are always, they're yours, you know, but it's what you do with them is the issue. So I tried really hard to teach him that. I hope that I was successful. But yeah, that whole, like, I just felt like I could never express myself if any negative feelings, you know, like everything always had to be happy. Otherwise, you know, and so you just end up not acknowledging any negative feelings you have. And I think that a lot of people have that problem. So I don't know. That was kind of my main thing, my most major thing, I think, that I thought of. That and affection. I talked about affection on the Facebook page as well, that I try to be affectionate with Luke, because my family wasn't affectionate and I was always like hugging, kissing, loving, and everybody's like, ugh. That's nice, Vera. Like, pat, pat, pat. Thanks for the hug. I don't know how you got into this family, but from what we can tell, you are genetically ours. So
you do like your mom. So
I do. So yeah. So I know that I'm okay there. But yeah. So those were, I guess, the two major things. Do you ever, like, aside from the spanking, like do something and like everybody talks about, you hear your mom or your dad's voice coming out of your mouth?
Yeah.
Can you think of something specific?
Oh God, I don't know, but I definitely have been like, God, I've become a mom.
Yeah. I was trying to think of something specific too with my parents, and it's just, and little nuances too. I'll notice, like, I'll laugh at something, or I'll, like, if if Luke would be talking and I was tired and I'd be listening and I'd just kind of stare off into space and go, I remember my dad doing that vividly, like being in the car and talking to him. And now I know it's like, I'm exhausted after a long day at work and I don't have a whole lot of energy to listen to you.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to stare off into space and go, Oh, what are you saying?
No, what? I'm sorry. My other one was similar to yours, where I think I craved more attention and like physical touch, like the hugs and whatever else, and just sitting on your parents' lap and whatever. And I don't know. Anyway, so with my nephew is where it started. It's like in future generations. Like every time I see him, he's 21 and married, and I hug and kiss him from the moment I see him. I'm just like, ooh, and I just like, we both squeeze each other really hard. And then we both pat our, the backs really hard as we can. It's just been our relationship. And so I do that with Baker. Like I probably kiss him 500 times a day. Aww. And now he's gotten to where, like, I put him in his car seat this morning and he's like, kiss.
Aww.
Like, no problem, buddy. I got you. You want 5 more too? Here we go.
Yeah, just kidding where that came from. Especially when they're like such little stinkers at that age, but they're so cute. And you just want
to. Oh, gosh. Yeah. We play with the kissy monster. Like, I'm like, and then he'll, then kissy monster turns into him and it's just like a tag.
Oh, little fun chubby cheeks.
I know, he's so cute. So a couple of our other listeners have what?
Sorry. That was a loudie. So a couple of our other listeners, you were saying?
Yes, a couple of our other listeners have left some of their things as well. One said, I try my best not to yell, but if I do, I apologize immediately and take a moment to talk to my kids about why I yell and work on ways to get better with communicating. And that's a really good one.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Mm-hmm. I apologize later.
Yeah. Much later.
Yeah. Like when I'm putting Baker to bed, I'll be like, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that I yelled at you earlier. Mom was just frustrated.
Yeah. I don't know if I ever apologized for yelling.
Well, he's so little, and but dude, man, sometimes you're like, ah!
Oh, for sure. And again, I don't think I yelled at Luke very much. And of course it was when he was in the three-nager stage, when he was terrible, when he was 3. Mm-hmm. And then as he got older, I didn't, cause I felt like, I had to get through to him again, like we talked about earlier. So, do you want me to read another one from somebody on Facebook?
Sure.
Okay, this one says, my mom lost her shit. My mom lost her shit in front of me too many times after my parents' divorce. I remember being 8 years old and she was snobbing.
Jeez.
She was
put your glasses on.
I know. I need to. She was sobbing. I talk for a living. Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
She was sobbing uncontrollably and saying, do you see what your father has done to me? Of course, this was hurtful because he was still my dad. And I knew there was nothing I could do to help her feel better. I vowed that when I had children, I would limit the type of emotion I showed in front of them. I'm happy to say that my 7-year-old has seen me upset, but within reason. He hopefully knows I'm a strong woman, but still capable of showing emotion.
Yeah, that's a hard line.
Yeah.
So, on 2 accounts, like as the mom, it's, especially with you being hurt. Cause I know that I feel like my parents did this as well. Like they're like, your mom, your dad.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And when you're a child of divorced parents, you get that back and forth.
Yeah. And you're like, cool.
Yeah.
So, and you had to flip sides depending on who the parent was too. So you had to play this ping pong game and like not defend anybody. Now that as an adult, if one or the other like complains about the other, I'm like,
yeah,
it's all in the past. Like,
exactly.
Let's just drop it.
Can we get over it now?
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's been 20 something years. Like, move on.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And I know like somebody's getting angry right now because I said that, but
oh well. Well, I was going to say too about what she said about trying not to show too much emotion. there's a fine line with that too, because I think that it's good for them to see that you get sad, but I can also see, because I remember a couple of times when my parents, lost their shit one reason or another, and you feel like, oh my God, that's my rock, and they're falling apart, So it's scary because you're kind of like, they're supposed to be able to hold it together.
I don't feel like I ever thought that. I honestly don't think I ever thought that.
Really? Wow.
No. I was kind of an independent person, and I still kind of am.
Yeah.
As far as my family goes, like my immediate family, like Brad and Baker, I like to be around all the time, and I just want like they're my circle. But like as far as my parents go, I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah, it's different, I guess. I don't know. I remember when Luke was little and I broke up with a guy, and this was when I decided to stop dating because I realized he was old enough to recognize that, see what was going on. And I teared up a little because I had seen him and it upset me. And Luke was like, "What's the matter, mommy?" And he was, again, really little, like, just talking. And I said, "Well, it was sad to see so-and-so. It kind of made me sad. I miss so-and-so." He's like, "Aw, I miss so-and-so too." And he was trying to make me feel better. I mean, I wasn't like boo-hooing. I just had like some tears in my eyes, and which was really sweet of him. He wanted to make me feel better. But that was when I decided, okay, I need to stop dating for a while because he's aware enough now to know what's going on. And but I felt like also too, I was showing him how I felt, but not creating drama and explaining it in a very simple way.
Yeah.
That I wasn't trying to keep anything from him. So he felt like I wasn't, because I think kids kind of sense that when you don't give them the whole story, like, or at least a good portion of it somehow.
Yeah. I think it's just such a hard line to navigate because you don't know what's going to be too much and what's not enough until until it's too late.
Yeah.
I mean, truthfully, like how much do you show?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to show too little to where, if you have a son and they get in a relationship with a girl and that girl is hyper emotional, they don't want to be like, this is how a woman's supposed to act. Hopefully you've raised your child not to say
right.
But you're saying like that could be somebody, they may be passing up on the love of their life because they think they're too emotional.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just a hard line to walk, but a really important one to be aware of.
Yeah. Well, of course, being aware is a big part of it. When you're aware of how your interactions are affecting your child. And again, like we've said so many times, every kid's a little different. So
yeah,
just got to kind of feel them out a little bit, a lot, actually.
Yeah. So the moral of the story is be aware, and there are going to be things that you are going to be successful at and things that you are not. And that is okay. Just as long as you're aware and try and correct things for the future and explain things to your kids, because this is a new day and you don't have to explain everything like, well, mommy and daddy make this amount of money, so they can't do that. It's just like, hey, bud, we just don't have the money right now to do something, or like, no, that like, I understand you want to do this, but you're a little too small right now to do that and you might get hurt. Just explain it. It's supposed to be like, I said so, no.
Right, exactly.
And then, if you do get upset, maybe not apologize right away, to maybe take some time to cool off or apologize right away, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And just acknowledge it to your kid. Like, hey, dude, I lost my temper and that sucks. And I'm so sorry. And I'm going to work on it.
Yeah. And I got frustrated. Yeah.
And like, that's part of, life. And it's just how, like you said, what you do with your emotions. You're allowed to have them, but it's what you do next.
Exactly.
Thank you for your words of wisdom.
Thank you. I am smart, even though.
So smart.
I know.
If you want to add any things that you have done differently from your parents, good or bad, then hit us up on Facebook at I Can't Mom Today podcast and leave us a message on our post. You just have to search maybe parents, or I don't know, probably everything comes up as parents.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I was going to say, you probably got a boatload there.
You can, I don't know, look up my name, Heather.
Heather, because there are only a couple Heathers in the world.
Yeah, I mean, just a few, a handful.
Just one or two. Yeah,
a couple. But leave us a message, give us some feedback, let us know some things that you are thinking of that we could cover and help you out with. And go check out our Instagram at Vera.
I Can't Mom Today podcast. And
Yes.
Facebook, I Can't Mom Today. And
you
Gmail.
you can email.
Mom Today podcast at Gmail.
Yes, and you can email us with show suggestions, questions. We'll be more than happy to post on your behalf as well in the community, because some things are very sensitive. I just had a friend ask me, she's like, hey, what about this? I had a friend that got really mom shamed over it. And I was like, sure, I'll post it, no problem.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because we'll maintain your anonymity if you'd prefer.
Yes.
We'll just call you Jane or Heather.
Or a member.
Member number 324.
Yes, we number you all. Until next time, have a great week.
Bye.